Think paranormal games are harmless fun? Think again. Some go beyond giving you chills. They invite unknown forces, cause real harm, and leave people traumatized for life. In this video, we count down the most dangerous games you should never try, whether they began as a dare, a prank, or simple curiosity. Stay with us to learn which ones to avoid and why. Number 17. The Deadly Three Kings Ritual. Horror and sci-fi films have taught us that opening a door to another dimension is never a good idea. Yet every now and then, someone dares to try anyway. This ritual, called the Three Kings, drags on for hours and demands serious setup. That gives you plenty of time to back out. You will need 3 chairs set in a triangle, 2 tall mirrors facing each other, a noisy fan blowing right at you, 1 flickering candle, an alarm clock, and a few personal items like photos or jewelry to invite the spirits. Arrange everything in a pitch-black room with no windows. At exactly 3:33 in the morning, light the candle, sit in the middle chair facing forward, and stare straight ahead with no peeking for a full hour. During that tense wait, the mirrors supposedly open a portal to the eerie shadow side, a hidden realm crawling with unknown forces. Strange whispers, cold chills, or shadowy figures might appear. Legend says you will glimpse terrifying truths about yourself, but many who try never come back the same. This ritual is not a game. It is a door you might not close. Number 16. The Devil's Handshake. This story warns about a game people say you should never try. It is called the Devil's Handshake. The idea is simple, but the results are terrifying. Find a room with no light. Sit alone and close your eyes. Reach out one hand, palm up, as if you are waiting for someone to shake it. Say nothing. Do not speak. Do not open your eyes. If nothing touches your hand, you are fine. But if someone or something clasps your hand, that is when it gets dangerous. Players describe the touch as icy and strong, like real fingers squeezing hard. The rules say to pull your hand back right away, without opening your eyes or saying a word. Many people who tried this say the grip stayed even after they pulled away, as if unseen fingers kept holding on. Some woke up hours or even days later with bruises around their wrist. The worst stories come from those who opened their eyes during the handshake. They say they saw no one in the room, but still felt a presence. They were not alone. Whether you believe it or not, the warnings are the same. Do not test this. Do not sit in the dark waiting for a touch. Some doors, once opened, are hard to close. Number 15. The Deadly Gallery of Henri Beauchamp. Some games are said to be more than just games. People claim that one wrong move can lead to serious danger. In some stories, the results are terrifying. One of the most talked about rituals is called the Gallery of Henri Beauchamp. According to the legend, it is not something you can simply try anywhere. It starts in a small bar in Paris. If you are not there already, even getting to the right place is part of the challenge. The ritual is said to have many strict steps. People warn that making a mistake could bring horrible consequences. Some say your worst fears may appear in front of you. Others believe it could leave you physically hurt or mentally changed forever. But the story does not end there. If someone somehow completes everything the right way, they are said to receive a strange kind of reward. The legend says they may be inspired for life. They may even get a chance to see Beauchamp's paintings for themselves. Of course, this is the kind of game most people should never attempt. In stories like this, curiosity can come with a very heavy price. Number 14. Daruma Falls Bath Ritual. This story begins like a normal bath, but it quickly becomes strange. While shampooing, the player must repeat a phrase over and over again. Daruma fell down. As the words are spoken, the player imagines a woman falling and hitting a rusty faucet. In the legend, the faucet pierces her eye and she dies. According to the tale, the next day the ghost of Daruma will follow the person who said the phrase. If the player looks straight at the ghost, she disappears. But if the player keeps glancing over their right shoulder, they sometimes catch a brief glimpse of a one-eyed figure. At that moment, the only way to escape is to make a chopping motion with the hand and shout "Kidda." If the gesture and the shout happen before midnight, the player is said to have avoided the ghost. Like many of these urban legends, the details change with each retelling. Some versions add different times, words, or rules. The important part is the mood. A quiet bath turns into a ritual, and a harmless moment becomes frightening in memory. Number 13. The Closet Game. The Closet That Takes You. This is one of the most infamous closet games, seemingly harmless until it is not. Two people take part. One person goes into a closet and sits in the dark with a box of matches. The other person stays outside and listens. The person inside says a phrase such as, "Show me the light or leave me in darkness," then waits. If they hear anything unusual, they must light a match and run out right away. They must not open the closet door while the lights are off. The story says a presence will claim the closet as its new home. People warn this game can attract something dangerous. Some say you could be followed, or worse. Others call it a dare that plays on fear. Either way, the advice is the same. Do not try it. It is not a joke you want to test. You can have a friend with you, but that does not make it safe. The best choice is to stay out of the closet entirely. Number 12. The Elevator Game, a ritual you should avoid. The elevator game is an urban ritual that comes from East Asia. People tell it as a warning story. They say if you press elevator buttons in a certain order, the lift will travel somewhere else. Not just to another floor, but to a place between worlds. The rules change depending on the storyteller. Some say only one person should play. Others say two can join. A few versions warn that more players increase the risk of something bad happening. Still, most versions agree on the same button sequence and one strange rule about the passenger on the 5th floor. To try the ritual, you need a building with 10 or more floors. Start on the ground floor. Press the buttons in this order: 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5, 1. Press each button and ride the elevator until the button you pressed is reached. Then press the next one. When the elevator stops at the 5th floor, a woman might step in. She could look ordinary. She might seem familiar. The rule says, do not look at her. Do not speak to her. Do not touch her. Do not answer if she asks a question. Do not acknowledge her in any way. Stories say she is not human. If you interact with her, she may follow you back or take you instead. That is the danger people warn about. If the ritual works, pressing the ground floor button at the end will not return you home. Instead, it will move the elevator to the 10th floor, but the 10th floor will not be what you expect. Exiting there will lead you into an echo of the real world. It looks the same, but feels wrong. Lights are out. Electronics fail. Outside the windows, people report seeing a faint red cross or a distant glow in the dark. Most people treat the elevator game as a ghost story or an internet dare. Others treat it as a serious warning and never try it. Whether you see it as a spooky legend or a real risk, the message is the same. Some games are said to open doors you cannot easily close. Number 11. The 11-Mile Road Ritual. Imagine this. You crave something more than anything. Maybe it is true love, endless cash, or just a fresh start. It sounds innocent, right? For the 11-Mile Road Ritual, you hop in your car alone late at night and hunt for that cursed stretch of road. Fix your mind on your deepest wish. If you truly mean it, the road appears, like it has been waiting for you. But here is the nightmare. As you drive the first mile, shadows flicker in your rearview mirror. On the second mile, whispers turn to muffled screams echoing from nowhere. By the 5th mile, your engine sputters, your lights flicker, and ice-cold winds blast through sealed windows. Ghosts claw at your doors. Faces press against the glass. Your deepest fears come alive to drag you under. Push through to the 11th mile without crashing or giving in, and your wish might come true. Survive, and you are one of the lucky few. Fail, and that road claims souls forever. This ritual is not a game. It is a one-way ticket to hell on wheels. Never try it. Number 10. The Midnight Game, a dangerous ritual. This story is about a ritual people call the Midnight Game. It sounds like a dare. It sounds like a foolish idea. Still, some people try it. The Midnight Game is an old ritual meant to summon a spirit into a house. It begins before midnight. The person who wants to play must follow several risky steps. One step asks them to prick a finger and draw a little. If that makes you ill, this game is not for you. After the blood step, the player writes their name on a piece of paper, drops it in a bowl of salt, and knocks on a door. Then they open the door and invite the spirit inside. That act starts the game. Once the ritual begins, the rules are simple but severe. The player must carry a lit candle at all times. They must keep moving through the house for 3 hours. If the candle goes out, trouble follows. If they see shadowy figures, hear whispers, or feel watched, it often means the spirit is near. People compare the Midnight Game to tag with a deadly twist. You try not to be seen. You try not to stop. You try to stay calm. The stakes are more than losing. Stories tell of strange marks, lasting fear, and terrifying nights. Many of these tales have a warning tone. They say do not do it alone, do not do it at home, and do not treat it as a dare. Rituals that invite unknown forces can feel real and dangerous. Even if you do not believe, the fear itself can cause panic and harm. Number 9. The Bloody Mary Mirror Ritual. People often call Bloody Mary the most famous mirror ritual, and it is also one of the easiest to try. The basic idea is simple. A person stands in front of a mirror and says the name Bloody Mary several times. Different versions ask for a different number of repeats, and some say you should use a dim light or a candle. Stories say that when Bloody Mary appears, she can look like a corpse, a witch, or a ghost. The tales about what she does are frightening. Some say she will strangle you, while others claim she will take your soul or scratch out your eyes. Most warnings say not to try it alone. The ritual is usually supposed to be done with friends, so you are not by yourself if something goes wrong. Whether you believe the stories or not, the Bloody Mary game has frightened generations of people, and its simple rules and spooky results make it one of the paranormal games people are told to avoid. Number 8. The Hide and Seek Alone. This is a warning about a dangerous game called Hide and Seek Alone, also known as one-man hide and seek. It sounds like a child's game, but when played at night, it becomes terrifying. Some people treat the game like a ritual that invites a spirit into a doll. The game begins with a doll. The player removes the doll's stuffing and replaces it with uncooked rice and one of their fingernails. After that, the doll is placed in water, usually in a sink or a bathtub. Next, the player acts as the seeker first. At first, it seems easy because the thing being sought looks like a lifeless doll. The rules then change. The player stabs the doll, pours salt water over it, and lets the doll take a turn at finding. Finally, the player must hide from the doll, which is believed to be possessed. Stories say the doll will try to find and frighten the person who started the game. People who tell these stories warn that once it begins, it can be dangerous to stop, and it may invite something you cannot control. Whether you believe it or not, this game is more than a toy. It is a ritual that asks you to risk your safety and peace of mind. Most storytellers advise against trying this at home. Number 7. Charlie Charlie. This game is called Charlie Charlie. It looks simple, but many people believe it invites something unwanted into the room. Take a piece of paper and draw 2 lines to make 4 sections. Write yes in 2 boxes and no in the other 2. Then place one pencil on top of the other so they form a cross. Sit quietly and ask, "Charlie, Charlie, are you here?" Do not laugh. Do not move the pencils yourself. Just wait. If the top pencil turns toward yes, people say Charlie has answered. After that, you can ask one more question, but you are never supposed to ask too many. The longer you play, the colder the room feels. Some people say the pencils move on their own. Others say the paper shakes even when no one is touching it. The danger begins if the pencil turns without warning. Some players claim they heard breathing behind them. Others say they saw the shadow of a child standing near the wall, even though no one was there. The worst stories come from the people who tried to end the game and found that the pencil would not stop moving. Whether you believe it or not, do not call Charlie just to prove something. Some names should stay on the paper. Number 6. Ghost Paper Challenge. The Ghost Paper Challenge is a ritual used to call a spirit into a room. The person performing it tries to communicate with the spirit by sliding a sheet of paper under a closed door. Like other paper-based rituals, the player may ask questions, but is limited to 3. They write one question at a time, push the paper halfway under the door, and then wait. If the spirit answers, the paper and the pen are pulled through to the other side and then pushed back with the reply. The player repeats this for the second and third questions. There are many ways this can go wrong. If a reply tells you to leave or sounds threatening, stop immediately. If you slide the paper under and it never comes back, do not continue. Follow the ritual's closing steps. Apologize, thank the spirit, and end the ritual as instructed. Sometimes the spirit might try to open the door. If that happens, the person must get away quickly. No matter how the session ends, keep the door closed until sunrise. No one knows exactly what will happen if you open it before daylight, but the advice is clear. Do not open it. Number 5. Red Book Mystery. Red Book, also called El Juego del Libro Rojo. This is a short, quiet story about a game many say you should never try. It is similar to a Ouija board, but instead of a board, it uses a plain hardcover book and a candle. To play, you need at least 2 people, a candle, and a hardcover book with no pictures. The room is dark. The candle is lit and placed in the center. Players sit around the candle and take turns holding the book. When someone asks a question, they close their eyes, open the book to a random page, and put a finger on a random spot. The sentence under their finger is read aloud. That sentence is taken as the answer from whatever voice the players are calling. Players also follow a set of rules. Like the Ouija, they ask permission to begin and to stop. People warn not to ask about your own death or ask things that might anger the spirit. There are no strict written rules, but many players believe some questions are dangerous. The game looks simple, but players say it can feel intense. Sitting in the dark and listening for an answer that seems to come from nowhere can be unsettling. That is why many tell you to be careful. Some things are better left unknown. Number 4. The Runner Ritual. This is a warning. Do not try this at home. The ritual is called the Runner, and it is meant to summon an opponent and race them. The rules seem simple, but the risks are real. You need a long hallway with no windows, running shoes, something to wager, and a way to mark a starting line and a finish line. The original story uses blood to draw the lines. That detail is part of the tale, but you should never use real blood. Treat it as symbolic and do not put yourself in danger. The goal is to summon a non-human opponent and run against them. If you win, your wager is duplicated and both items appear at the finish. If you lose, the opponent takes your wager. Your wager must be a physical object that can be copied. Do not make the wager a living thing. The race is not just about speed. The summoned runner keeps a steady pace that is slightly faster than yours. If you sprint and then slow down, they will pass you. The trick is to vary your pace and run in short bursts with recovery in between. That rhythm gives you a chance to get ahead. Follow the instructions exactly. Do not look at the opponent. Do not speak except for the exact words the ritual requires. Breaking the rules can change the outcome. At the finish line, the result depends on who wins. If you lose, your wager disappears. If you win, you will find your original item, a duplicate of it, and a small slip of paper that again says ? Do not accept that invitation. Playing again is said to be much worse. The stakes will not be only your belongings next time. This ritual mixes folklore, danger, and strict rules. Even as a story, it reminds us that some rituals are best left alone. Number 3. Dark music you should never call. Dark music is less a game and more a ritual. It plays out like a ghostly concert. In this ritual, a person summons a spirit to play an instrument. The person then sits out of sight behind a line of salt and listens. The ritual requires respect. The spirit can be easily upset. Even quiet noises, such as loud breathing, may be taken as an insult. There are 2 ways to end the ritual. One is the thankful way for when everything goes smoothly. The other is the forgiving way for when things go badly. If you ever have to use the forgiving way, you will be in serious trouble. What keeps you safe is showing respect to the spirit. Be polite, stay very quiet, and follow the rules exactly. If you are rude, dismissive, or noisy, the spirit may react harshly. When that happens, things can become dangerous. This ritual blends music, folklore, and danger. Even as a story, it reminds us that some experiences are best left alone. Number 2. The red door, the yellow door. The red door, the yellow door is a strange game, people say, lets you explore your own mind. It feels a little like stepping into a dream. In the game, one person becomes the subject. They lie down with their arms raised and their head in the lap of a guide. The guide's job is to lead the subject through the experience. To begin, everyone chants together. Red door, yellow door, any other color door. They repeat this until the subject seems to drift into a trance. When the subject begins to see doors in their mind, they lower their hands. That signals the chanting should stop, and the game can begin. The guide asks simple questions about what the subject sees. What color is the door? What is inside the room? The answers direct where the subject travels next. The point of the game is to explore those imagined rooms. There is no fixed ending, but some online advice recommends not staying longer than 1 hour. Players who try this game follow a few informal rules. If a room is full of clocks, leave it right away because clocks are said to trap you in the trance. Light-colored rooms are usually safer than dark ones. Stairs that go up are better than stairs that go down. If you meet an old woman, do not talk to her, just leave. If you meet a man in a suit who fills you with dread, stop the game. If the guide cannot bring the subject out, move away from that figure as far as possible. Trust your instincts and avoid doors or rooms that feel wrong. In a real emergency, the guide can shake the subject to wake them. Many people describe the red door, the yellow door as low risk if you are careful. Still, it can be unsettling. The game taps into deep, private images and feelings. For some, that is interesting. For others, it is too intense. Number 1. The Devil's Face Ritual. Simple game. Deadly risk. This game is quite simple, but trust me, you should never try it. It is called the Devil's Face Ritual, and all you need are 12 black candles. Good luck finding those just sitting around your house. You will probably have to head to the store first. Picture this. It is almost midnight, and you are slipping into a pitch-black bathroom. The air feels heavy, right? You stand right in front of the mirror, strike a match, and light those 12 black candles one by one. They flicker to life, casting creepy shadows everywhere. Now close your eyes tight and wait. Your heart pounds as the clock ticks closer to midnight. The second midnight hits. You snap your eyes open. Stare straight into that mirror. Instead of your own face staring back, legend says you will see the devil himself grinning at you. Pure evil, right there in the glass. What could go wrong? Yeah, exactly. Do not even think about it.